Dear students, please welcome to the YouTube channel Mathematics Students Helper. In present video, our topics is divisibility ring in part 5. There are many parts of divisibility ring. These are also given in my channel. You can see that videos. Link of that videos are given in description box. Please check the description box. Here topics is irreducible element versus prime elements. That is, we prove some theorems related irreducible element and prime elements. And next I define unique factorization domain with example. Please see the video, not skipping, and take your notebook and pen and calculate. I hope that you understand my video. If you understand the video, please like it after watching and share it with your friends. If the channel is not till subscribed, please subscribe the channel so you get the updates. Definition of irreducible element is given in previous video. Here also I repeat the definition of irreducible element. Let R be a commutative ring with unity. A non-zero element A in R is said to be an irreducible element if some conditions are satisfied. First condition is that A is not a unit in R, and second condition is the only divisors of A are units and the associates of A, that is A has only improper divisors, that is A has no proper divisors. Proper divisors means a divisor of A will be a proper divisor if it is not a unit, neither a unit nor a associate of A. Okay. Second condition can also be written in some another form. This says that if A equal to BC, then either B is a unit or C is a unit. Examples of irreducible element and prime elements also given in previous video. You can see that video. Now I remind the definition of prime element. So prime element, let R be a commutative ring with unity. A non-zero element P in R is said to be prime element if first condition is same as irreducible element, this is P is not a unit, and second condition is if P divides AB, then either P divides A or P divides B, where AB are two elements in R. Okay. In previous video, that is video related irreducible element and prime element, you see that 3 is a irreducible element but not prime in the integral domain z of square root of minus 5. So you see that every element which are irreducible, it may not be a prime, but every prime element is always irreducible element in an integral domain. Now I prove that theorem which says that in an integral domain every prime element is an irreducible element. Okay, so you have to take an integral domain. Let D be an integral domain and P be a prime element in D. So since P is prime element, there are two conditions for P. First condition is P is not a unit, and second condition is if P divides AB, then either P divides A or P divides B. Obviously P is non-zero. So here you have to prove that P is irreducible element. That means you have to show that P is non-zero and not a unit in D. And second condition is if P equal to AB, then either A or B is unit. So first condition is satisfied is automatically because we have to here we have to show that P is irreducible element. P is not a unit because P is prime element. From the definition of prime element, you know that P must be a non-unit in D. So here P is not a unit in D. Let P equal to AB for some elements AB in D. You have to show that either A is unit or B is unit. P will be irreducible if either A is unit or B is a unit in D. Okay. Now P equal to AB means P divides AB, because you know that A divides A for all non-zero elements A in a ring. So here P divides AB. Again, since P is prime, therefore P divides A or P divides B. Now we discuss two cases. In case 1, P divides A, and then we discuss about when P divides B. If P divides A, then A equal to P into something. A equal to here P into A1, I write down P equal to A1. If P divides A, then A equal to A must be equal to P into something, where something A1 is an element in D. Okay, so A equal to P A1. Now AB equal to P, we assume that P equal to AB because we have to show that either A is a unit or B is a unit. So we assume P equal to AB. In previous page we assume that. So here you have, if you put P A equal to P A1, then you get P A1 into B equal to P. Then take P in left hand side and take common P. This will be P into P into A1B minus I equal to 0. 0 is the 0 element in ring and I is the unity in the integral domain D. Okay. Now you see that P is non-zero element because P is prime, it must be non-zero, and this is an element in the integral domain D. If this is non-zero, then we have multiplication of two non-zero elements because P is non-zero, and if it is non-zero, then multiplication of two non-zero element is 0, but it is not possible since D contains no divisor 0. Integral domain does not contain divisor of 0. Therefore A1B minus I must be 0. That is, since D contains no divisor of 0 and P is non-zero from the definition of prime element. Therefore A1 B equal to Y. So B is non-zero element and here B into something. Here B is non-zero because you see that P is non-zero. If B is 0, then this will, then A dot 0 must be 0, therefore P will be 0. So B is non-zero. Okay. Since B is non-zero and we get a element A1 such that A1 into B equal to I, therefore B is a unit in D. This shows that B is unit in D. Thus, when P divides A, B is a unit in D. Thus, if P divides A, then B is a unit in D. Similarly, if you take P divides B, then you can show that A is a unit. Similarly, we can show that if P divides B, then A is unit. So, we see that when P equal to AB, then either A is unit or B is a unit. So we get P is not 0 and not unit in D, and P equal to AB implies that A is a unit or B is a unit, that is P has no proper divisor, hence P is irreducible element. So the theorem is proved, that is every prime element is irreducible element in an integral domain. So I prove the theorem. This theorem is proved. Statement was, in an integral domain every prime element is always irreducible element. But converse of the above theorem is not always true. That is, every irreducible element is not always prime element. For example, we consider the ring of z of square root of minus 5, that is a plus b square root of minus 5, where a b belongs to z. You know that this form a ring with respect to addition and multiplication, where addition is defined by a plus square root of minus 5b plus c plus square root of minus 5 into d equal to a plus c plus root 5 into coefficients of root square root of minus 5, that is root 5 into b plus d. This is same as square complex number, and multiplication divides defined in such a way that here this into this means AC into, if you multiply that, it will be square root of minus 5 into square root of, actually square root of minus 5 whole square into BD. Square root of minus 5 whole square is minus 5, because square root of minus 5 and square root of minus 5, this is 5i and 5a, that is square root of 25. Square root of minus 5 and square root of minus 5 means, actually square root of minus 5 means square root of 5 into I, and this is square root of 5 into I, therefore 5i into square root of 5i into square root of 5b means 5i square, that is minus 5. Okay. You know another formula, root of ab equal to root b, but this is not applied in that case because these rules happens only if a and both b are both positive, but here here minus 5 are not positive, minus 5 not positive, so you cannot use that theorem. However, the second part is, if you multiply a with square root of minus 5d, then you will get square root of minus 5 into ad, and if you multiply square root of minus 5b with c, then you will get square root of minus 5 into bc, therefore this result this. Okay, here 3 is irreducible element, but it is not prime element, which is discussed in previous video. Please see that video, link of that video is given in description box. So here the converse part of the above theorem is not always true. Okay. Now I give another theorem which states that every prime element is irreducible element as well as every element is a prime element also. If you replace integral domain by principal ideal domain, the theorem states that in a principal ideal domain an element is prime if and only if it is irreducible. That is, every irreducible element is prime as well as every prime element is irreducible element. You know the principal ideal domain. This says that a integral domain is said to be principal ideal domain if every ideal is principal ideal. Okay. So here we take let D be a principal ideal domain and we consider P be a prime element in D. So you have to show that P is a irreducible element. You see that since D is principal ideal domain, it is obviously integral domain from the definition of principal ideal domain. Here you see that P is a principal ideal prime element in an integral domain. So from the above theorem, that theorem or previous theorem, in an integral domain every prime element is irreducible element. So since here P is prime, P must be irreducible by previous theorem. Since D is integral domain by previous theorem, P is irreducible element. Now we have to prove the converse part, that is you have to take P as irreducible element, then you have to show that P is prime element. For that purpose, let P be a irreducible element. We have to show that P is prime element. There are two conditions. If that two conditions satisfied, then P will be prime. The first condition is P is not a unit, and the second condition, if P divides AB, then either P divides A or P divides B. Since P is irreducible element, it is not a unit in D. This occurs from the definition of irreducible element. So first condition for prime element is obviously satisfied. P is not a unit in D. Now we take AB in D two elements in such a way that P divides AB. Let AB divides D such that P divides AB. So you have to prove that P divides A or P divides B. We have to show that either P divides A or P divides B. Okay. If P divides A, then theorem is obviously proved, because you have to show that P divides A or P divides B. If P divides A, then theorem is proved. Suppose P not divides A. So here you see that P is non-zero because it is prime, and A is also non-zero because if A is 0, then P divides A, because every element divides 0, because 0 equal to P into 0, P into something. So P divides 0. So here A is not a 0 element. So P and A are both not 0 elements in the principal ideal domain. Again, you know that greatest common divisor or least common multiple does not exist in every integral domain or every ring, but in a principal ideal domain, GCD and LCM of two non-zero elements always exist. Since P, A are elements in principal ideal domain, GCD of PA and A exist. This theorem is proved in previous part, either part 3 or part 4. So here GCD of PA exists. Let D be the GCD of PA. Then we will show that, now we will show that D is not a unit in D. This is our target. However, here D divides P and D divides A. Since D is a common divisor, greatest common divisor, it is at first common divisor. Since D is a common divisor, that is D divides P as well as D divides A. Since D divides P, therefore P equal to D into something. Again, since D divides A, therefore A equal to D into something. That is, there exist elements. Suppose the elements are UV such that P equal to D into something, that is UD, and A equal to D into something, that is VD. Here VD and DU are not different because this is principal ideal domain, that is it in integral domain, that is it is commutative. Okay. So here P equal to UD and A equal to VD. If possible, D is not a unit. Actually our aim was D is a unit in D. So we prove it by contradicts. For that purpose, we consider D is not a unit in D, integral domain or principal ideal domain. Since P is irreducible, again you see that here P is UD. From the definition of irreducible element, if P equal to UD, then either U is unit or D is unit. U is unit or D is unit, but we assume that D is not a unit. D is not a unit. Okay, so the remaining case is U is unit, therefore U is unit, and therefore since U is not a unit, since U exists, U is unit, therefore universe exists, and P equal to UD. Here P equal to UD, we get P equal to UD. If you multiply both sides by U inverse in left, then U inverse P equal to D, that is D equal to U inverse P. Okay. Again A equal to VD. You see that here A equal to VD. A equal to VD, just you have to put D equal to U inverse P and that place. Therefore, this will be A equal to V into U inverse P. A equal to V into U inverse P. V inverse P, that is here I put in the place of D. So you see that A equal to P into something. P into something. Something is in R, is in D. Since A equal to P into something, therefore we can conclude that P divides A. But this is not true. Actually, we assume that P does not divide. So our assumption that is D is not a unit is not possible. Therefore, D is unit. Here which is contradiction. Hence, D is unit. So we get D is unit. Again, since in a principal domain D can be expressed as D is the GCD of AP. GCD of AP can be expressed as A into something plus P into something. Suppose D equal to lambda A plus mu P for some lambda mu into D. If we multiply D inverse in both sets, then D inverse D equal to D inverse of lambda A plus D inverse of mu P. Okay, this is I. Therefore, I equal to that. Now, B equal to I into B, that is, if you put that in the place of I, that this will be D inverse lambda A into B and D inverse mu P into B. Okay. Now, we assume that P divides AB and P divides PB obviously. Actually, our target was we have to show that P is a prime. For that purpose, we assumed that P divides AB and P divides PB. It is obvious because PB equal to P into something. So, P divides AB as well as P divides PB. Since P divides AB and P divides PB, therefore P divides AB into something plus PB into something. Here you consider two some things. Here we consider D inverse lambda. Okay, and this implies that P divides something into AB and something into PB. Here you consider this something is D inverse lambda and this is as D inverse mu. So this is P. Thus P divides B. So at first we see that if P divides A, then theorem is done, but if P does not divide, then P must divide B. So either P divides A or P divides B. Hence the theorem is proved, that is P is prime element. Okay. So in an integral domain, every prime element irreducible element, but irreducible element not necessarily prime. But in a principal ideal domain, every part holds, that is every prime element is irreducible element as well as every irreducible element is prime element. However, now I will go in unique factorization domain. Here I give the definition of unique factorization domain and then I give a example. Actually, in the terms unit factorization domain, definition is hidden. Here, since this is domain, so you have to take an integral domain. Factorization means every element in the domain have to factorize, and unique means the factorization is unique. Okay, so at first you have to take integral domain and then you have to factorize the elements in D, and then you have to say that the factorization is unique factorization domain UFD. An integral domain R is said to be unique factorization domain if the following conditions are satisfied. First condition is that every non-zero and non-unit element in R can be expressed as the product of irreducible elements. Okay, this is found factorization, and here you have to take R as domain. Okay, now this expression of product of irreducible element must be unique. Number 2, the decomposition is unique up to the order and associates of the irreducibles. Means suppose a element has two representations, suppose P1, P2, PR and Q1, Q2, QR. Okay, two factorization of same element. Okay, then you see that these are unique because so these two representation must be equal. So the factorization, the factors in this expression and number of factors in that expression must be equal, that is at first r equal to s, and associates must be irreducibles. That is, this means here see that they are unique because they are same terms, same factors up to, but order is not, may not be equal. That is, if here p1, this p1 is second position, here suppose p2 is last position, and any others. Here p1 to q1 may not be equal. Instead of equality, these will be associates of irreducibles. That is, p1 must be associate irreducible, then q1 must be reducible, and q1 must be associate with p1. You know that associate of irreducible element is also irreducible. So here p1 is irreducible, then q1 will be associate of p1, that is it is also irreducible. Okay, so here r and s equal and pi pj are associates for some ij. Okay, and p1 p2 q1 q2 these are all irreducible element also. However, now I give an example. So that the ring z plus dot of integers is a unique factorization domain UFD. Clearly, z plus dot is an integral domain. You have to show that this is also unique factorization domain. For that purpose, you have to take an element which is non-zero and not unit. Let n be a non-zero element and non-unit in z. In z, zero element is 0 and non-unit and unit elements are 1 plus minus 1. So since n is non-zero and not unit, therefore n must be not equal to 0 and not equal to plus minus 1. Now if we solve that question in two cases. In first case, we consider n as positive integers. Since n is positive integer, therefore n equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 plus, dot dot, but here n is not equal to 1, here n is not equal to plus 1, therefore you have to take n as greater than or equal to 2, then n is positive integer greater than 1, that is greater than or equal to 2. Then by fundamental theorem of arithmetic, n is prime or it can be expressed as the product of primes and the expression is unique except the order. You know the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, every positive integer is either 1 or it prime or it can be expressed as product of primes. So n can be expressed as the product of primes. We know that prime integers is prime element in z. Also prime integers are irreducible element also. Since z plus all dot is integral domain, every prime element is irreducible. Okay, here prime integers are prime element in z. Again, since this is integral domain, every prime elements are irreducible element. So every prime elements are prime integers are irreducible element. So we can conclude that since then by fundamental theorem of arithmetic, you see that every positive integer can be expressed as the product of primes. Just here I can replace the primes, that is prime integers, by irreducible element, because in z plus dot every prime elements are irreducible. So then by fundamental theorem of arithmetic, n can be expressed as the product of irreducible elements and the representation is unique except the order of the elements, where irreducible elements are positive, because fundamental theorem is applied on positive integer, but here since n is in z, then its expression can be multiplied by some negative elements also. Let n equal to p1, p2, pk. Okay, for all are primes. For example, suppose we consider 12. 12 means 2 into 2 into 3. You can write it is in the form minus 2 into 2 into minus 3 also. That is, but in z n can be also expressed as n equal to q1, q2, qk, where q1 equal to qi equal to plus minus pi. That means here actually all the elements are positive, but here positive and negative mixture. Actually here we introduce even number of negative primes. Suppose q1 equal to minus p1, q2 equal to minus p2, and all other elements are negative. So this will be minus q1 minus q2 into into plus q3 into plus q4 dot plus qk. So it is also unique, and these are reducible element because here negative signs occur even number of times, because if you take three negative signs, then n will be negative. For example, if you take 12, then 12 equal to 2 into 2 into 3, but 12 is not equal to minus 2 into minus 2 into minus 3. So you have to take even number of negative sign. If qi equal to pi, then pi qi are associates, because pi equal to qi into 1 is the unit. Okay, since therefore pi and qi are reducible elements, and since pi and qi associates and pi is prime, therefore qi also associates with pi, therefore qi also irreducible. Similarly, if qi equal to minus pi, then pi qi are associates, because pi equal to qi into minus 1. Minus 1 is unit, so qi is and pi are associates. Since pi are irreducible, so qi are also irreducible. Here qi are also irreducible. So thus the decomposition of n is unique up to the order and associates of irreducibles. Okay, that means if that two expression, these and these, then pi are associates with qi, and here pi's are irreducibles, and here number of factors is k, and here is also number of factors is k. So in first case the theorem is proved. Now in case 2 we consider n as negative integer. Since n is negative integer, it must be equal to minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 dot dot, but we cannot take n as minus 1, because we take n as not equal to minus 1, because minus 1 is unit in z plus dot. Okay, let n equal to minus m, where m is a positive integer, obviously m must be greater than 1. So since m is greater than 1 by case 1, decomposition of m is unique up to the order and associates of the irreducibles. Let m equal to r1, r2, rk, where r1, r2 are all irreducible elements. So minus n equal to minus of that. Okay, this can be written as, if we take minus 1 with r1, this will be minus r1 into r2 dot dot rk. You can also take minus 1 with r2 also, therefore n will be r1 into minus r2 into dot dot rk. And similarly minus sign can be taken with rk also. So all the expressions are unique up to the order of associates and irreducible. That means you see that here, suppose if I compare that and that, here minus r1 and plus r1 are associates, r2 are two associates, rk r minus rk associates. If you compare that to here, minus r1 plus r1 associates, plus r2 minus r2 associates, rk associates. Okay, these r1, r2, rk are unique. From the case 1, m has unique representation, so n has also unique representation. Just different from n and m are just 1 minus 1 occurs in n, but this is not present in m. Okay, therefore n is unique up to the order of elements and associates of the irreducibles. Hence the theorem is proved. I hope that you understand my video. In next video I give another examples of unique factorization domain, and there are many other theorems also. Please see the video. Anyway, thank you. Have a good day.